Hey, welcome back to the Crash Bandicoot Let's Play. We're now in part 3 where we're going to be facing off with our second boss in the game, Ripperoo, and this guy is just fucking crazy. I mean, look at his character model. He's a mental patient. He is clinically insane. He's the type of guy that you'd find in his cell with 5 feet deep of insulation because people are afraid he's going to fucking hurt himself. Actually, Ripperoo is another test subject of Dr. Neo Cortex. Just like Crash, he was being tested to create Cortex's large army so that he can take over the world or something. It's never really explained why Neo Cortex wants this big army, but let's just assume he's bad, he wants world domination, whatever. So he wanted an army full of genetically mutated animals, like bandicoots, kangaroos, koalas. In fact, in part 1, with the main cutscene of the game, you can actually see when Crash is sitting down and he's being placed into the vortex, that there are cages to the left. And these cages are actually foreshadowing the people that we're going to be seeing, because in the third row you'll see a bunch of kangaroos, and in the second row there's a koala, and later in this game we will be fighting a genetically mutated koala, which was also a test subject of Cortex. So all these characters are intertwined, they have all similarities to them except Papu Papu. I'm not sure why Papu Papu's in the game. I think it was just we were on his tribal burial grounds or whatever, we were in his land and he was just trying to protect it with this pathetic pattern. So I didn't really get to talk about Ripperoo's boss pattern during that whole fight. I was more talking about generic stuff. But basically he hops from platform to platform, and while you're avoiding him you have to try and touch the big TNT crates which are flowing downstream, which activate them, and if they explode near him he takes damage and he laughs hysterically. He's like the Joker, in which he doesn't get hurt per se. Like, he gets hurt but he likes the feeling of getting hurt, and he reminds me of the Joker a lot because he's just so insane, so crazy. It's so funny. And the person who voices Ripperoo in this game, actually his name is Dow McKinnon, and he's the voice of Archie in the Archie cartoons, and I loved watching the Archie cartoons as a kid. All those crazy adventures they had in Riverdale, and it was a good show, it really was. So now we're in the Lost City, and this is the point of the game where levels start to get longer and there are more obstacles and secrets you have to find. I mean, right in the beginning of this level you see that if you're not really good at this game, if you're not really good at controlling Crash's jump, I'm pretty sure you're gonna die when trying to hop around those steel crates. It's funny because I don't think there's another time in the game which requires you to do 3D platforming in a 2D scenario like this. So you won't be experiencing something like that a whole lot in this game, but for that one instance you're gonna be probably scratching your head the first time through thinking, how the fuck do I get around this? Because you're probably playing 2D sections in this game like they're really 2D sections, when really it's all 3D, just you're viewing it in a type of 2D side-scrolling way, and it's there to make you remember that left and right aren't the only controls on a D-pad, that up and down are still viable options. So it's a noob's puzzle. It's something that a first-timer will look at and be perplexed about how to get through it, how to get that box, how to get that extra life, and it's there to test you. It's there to see if you understand how to play Crash at this point, which I hope you do if you're playing this. I mean, how could you beat Ripperoo and not understand how to play the game? But anyway, it's not only that. This whole level is here to test your skills at this point. These stones that come in and come out of the wall, you need some pretty good jumping ability for that. You need some pretty good timing. This whole level is about timing. It's about jumping. It's about knowing when the stones are going to come out and come in so you can go past them or you can jump on them. This whole level is about looking at your surroundings and knowing what's to come. Right here, I mean, this is a long stretch of stones that are coming in and coming out. You gotta have timing, you gotta have rhythm, you gotta know what's going on around here. And this section, you gotta realize that what you're seeing is not always a 2D section, that you gotta remember it's a 3D game. Right now, there are boxes in the background that you can go to. I mean, I don't know if everyone would notice that the first time playing, you know? And there's a Brio icon there, so if you want to get a whole bunch of extra lives, I mean, it's a rewarding thing that if you notice that this is a 3D game in a 2D section, you'll notice that there are hidden goodies in the background, there are hidden goodies in the foreground, there are things that require the up and down buttons on your D-pad, you know? So I like that. I like that about the level design in this level, that it's just a good beginner teaching tool of what's to come in the harder stages of the game. And it's not like they're expecting you to be perfect either. I mean, in the first minute of the level, you can get like 5 lives. So they're expecting you to die in this stage a couple times because you're not aware of what's going on. and they're not gonna punish you too bad for it because they're giving you like 5-6 lives. I think I've gotten a lot of lives, not counting the Brio lives that I got in that stage. I mean, look, there's just an extra life just laying there. You know, they're not punishing you too bad. They're not penalizing you too bad for not knowing what's going on in the first time. So this is like the third or fourth time we're encountering these string of bats. Basically, there's just 2 bats hanging on either end. If you kill both of them, then the rest of the bats flying through will also die and turn into Wampa Fruit. Like you see, they just turned, all of them just turned to Wampa Fruit because I killed the second bat just hanging there. So again, it's another point in this level where timing is key, where you have to know when the string of bats are going to come so you can avoid them. And this is a stone section. This is probably the hardest part of the stage, where you just gotta know, you just gotta learn the pattern and just don't fuck yourself up, because especially those 3 stone pillars next to each other, those ones have a really weird pattern that you just have to be patient. You just have to realize what's going on, and you'll be able to complete the stage with no problem. And look at these fucking bats. It's crazy. See, the bats aren't the difficulty. The thing that's difficult about the bats are the positioning of where they are in the level. So alongside of bats coming through, you have to kill the lizards, and the only time you can kill the lizards is if you jump on them, and you gotta jump on them before the bats come, because then you're gonna jump right into them and die. So again, it's another great beginner stage level. Holy shit, look how many Wampa crates there are right here. That's 2 lives worth of Wampa Fruit in these crates alone. I mean, that's 200 Wampa Fruit. You get 10 in each. That's crazy. And what's interesting about those boxes is you get 10 Wampa Fruit in each, but you have to bounce on it 10 times. You know, it gives you 1 Wampa Fruit for each bounce, but you're not guaranteed 10. You gotta be quick about it, because if you wait too long to bounce on it, it kind of goes down after the first bounce. So, you know, if you bounce on it 10 times quick, you get 10 Wampa Fruit. If you miss it, or, you know, whatever reason you don't decide to jump on it again, it kind of like loses Wampa Fruit depending on the amount of time it takes from one jump to the next. It's a little hard to explain. I think I've explained it okay, but it doesn't really matter anyway. I have 84 lives. Once I get to the max 99, I'm not really going to go for Wampa Fruit anymore. I'm just going to, you know, just go through the levels pretty quick. I'm not going to go out of my way for Wampa Fruit. Once those boxes start to appear, I'm not going to really try and bounce on them 10 times. I'm just going to break them. You know, I need the crate for the gem, so I have to break it. But I'm not going to waste your time by getting every Wampa Fruit in it. So 99 is pretty close. So I'm at 84, I just said. So you're not going to see me bouncing on boxes all day like in that bonus stage. I should have just ran right through it, because again, you don't need those crates for the gem. So I should have just ran right through that shit. But anyway, we just got our first colored gem in the game. The whole game, we got the green gem. There are 6 colored gems in the entire game. There's green, red, blue, purple, orange, and yellow. And the green gem is going to be used to get the clear gem in Jungle Rollers, which happens to be the 2nd level in the game. And this is what I'm talking about, backtracking, you know. The colored gems is just a means to extend game time. I mean, we were just in the Lost City, the beginning of the 2nd island, right after Ripperoo, and now we got a colored gem so that we can play Jungle Rollers, the 2nd stage in the game. And I mean, Jungle Rollers, it's not hard to get the color, I mean, it's not hard to get the gem in that level because it's so easy, but that's the bad part about it, is because the level is so easy that playing it a 2nd time is going to be extremely boring. There is no challenge to that stage at all. So it's just going to be a waste of game time, really. And that's what I was talking about before. This game does that too much with the colored gems. It does it too much. I mean, you need the blue gem for 3 different stages in this game. In order to get the clear gem in 3 stages of the 32, you need the blue gem. And you have to backtrack for those stages. No, you have to backtrack for 2 of the stages. And then the 3rd stage is actually after the stage where you get the blue gem. So, I mean, that one's okay. But if you didn't get the blue gem on your first run through, which you probably wouldn't have, and you end up beating the game and then going back for the gems, then you have to play that stage again because you didn't have the blue gem. It's just terrible. It's awful. You know, it's... I mean, the red gem you need for 2 stages. The yellow gem you need for 2 stages. And another thing about the blue gem is that in one of the stages, you need to ride the blue gem platform so that you can safely go down a bottomless pit where there are boxes down there. But what makes no sense is that Crash doesn't take fall damage. No matter what height he drops from, he'll still be fine. So that pit technically isn't bottomless, so I don't understand why I can't go down there in the first place. It's stupid. It really is. It's so dumb. but that's the way the game is. The game is built on backtracking for 100%, and a lot of games do this. But the problem I have with this game doing this is that its save functionality isn't the greatest. You know, you have to flawlessly beat a stage to get the gem. You can't die in this stage. If I almost died right there. You know, that jump, I almost fucked up on that jump. If I had died right there, I already got a checkpoint, so then I would have to beat this stage and then come back to it again. You know, I would be fine with it if it would save the boxes I've already broke through checkpoints, but it doesn't, so I'm not okay with it. I'm not. And are you kidding me? Like, invisible blocks in this stage? Are you crazy? What the fuck? Like, I mean, okay, the Whomper Fruit was there to give you a sign, but what if you think that Whomper Fruit is just trying to trick you? You know, you could have thought both ways. Like, oh, I'm not going to get that one Whomper Fruit and then die. That doesn't make any sense. So then you skip it. And then there you go. The gem, you can't get the gem anymore. Ah, just fuck this game's gem collecting, man. Fuck it. I'm never doing this again. I will never do this again. Fuck that. I would have played Warped. Oh, fuck. I talked about the later games in this part. I'm going to do this every part. I'm just going to talk about Cortex Strikes Back and Warped in every part. I just am, because I'm deprived of those games. This game just makes me want the sequels more. It does. It makes me, and I guess that's the good thing about playing this game, is that it makes me appreciate those games a lot more, because I know how they started, and I know that those games really built upon the foundation of what the original Crash Bandicoot is. Sorry, Crash Bash is another game I actually really like too. It wasn't made by Naughty Dog, but Crash Bash is still a really fun party game. Maybe I'll get to that sometime later. But yeah, thank Christ I don't have to do this stage again, because one fuck up in this stage and you're down in a bottomless pit. The whole stage is a bottomless pit, so one screw up and you pretty much have to beat the stage again for the gem. Thank God I'm skilled enough to not have to do that, so yeah, I'll see you guys in part 4. I'm gonna go play Warped.